Igun Street remains till the present day the ward inhabited by the bronze casters. Chief Ine is the traditional head of the bronze casters.
This place was originally built for Igun, our ancestor, our forefather, by Oba SJ, about 15th century. This room is very, very important for all the Iguns because this is the seat of government, so to speak, for the Iguns. It is also very, very important for the Oba of Benin because all the broadcasters which serve as royal recorders in those days emanated from this place. And as a result, when we have any important thing to do, any order from the palace, we come in here to distribute or to assemble to record whatever is required in broadcasting. In short, this is the pivot on which the whole Igun system revolves.
Bronze casting was a royal art form. Only the Oba could commission works from the bronze casters. Its purpose was to symbolize and affirm the power, grandeur, continuity, and mystique of the ruling dynasty. The close attention to detail is typical of the Benin artist, and nowhere is this more apparent than in the plaques. These plaques continue to amaze scholars and historians because they seem to comprise an almost complete inventory of the culture of Benin. All the bronzes for which Benin has become famous were made by a technique which has come to be called the lost wax process. It permits only one example to be cast from the mold, so that every bronze is a unique sculpture. The primary reason for these conventions was the need to define and describe as precisely as possible the different identities of the Oba, who functioned both as ruler and priest, and to define the relationship of the Oba to his people. Beeswax is softened and stretched to be placed over the basic clay mold, from which more detailed features will be modeled. The artist would be required to learn the conventions and incorporate them into his art, to produce a sculpture that was innovative and yet conformed to the accepted rules and ideals of the society. As an individual, he may contribute innovations and force the pace of development, but the culture will impress upon him, forcing him to steer the course that he does. For the artist is not outside his culture, he interacts with it. After the caster is satisfied with the features on the mold, he covers it with a layer of clay, carefully ensuring that the features he has modeled are not distorted in the process. After the mold has dried, it is secured by tying it up with wire. Over this, another layer of clay will be added. Once dry, the mold is heated over a fire. This will melt the wax within it. The caster is now left with an impression of his sculpture within the mold. The mold is then placed in an oven, which will heat it up to the required temperature for safely receiving the molten brass. While the mold is being heated, the caster prepares a furnace which will melt the metal. Today, scrap is commonly used for sculptures on sale to the public. A simple car battery powers a fan which pumps air into the furnace, increasing the temperature. Hand-operated bellows would have been used in the past. Even though workshops such as this one would once have produced large quantities of bronzes for the Oba, there were a number of items considered too sacred to be cast in the open. Such items as ancestral heads, which an Oba would need to have made to furnish his deceased predecessor's altar, would be done under extreme secrecy within the palace walls. The Oba himself would pour the first lot of molten metal into the mold.
Where are you doing? Where are you doing?
After a few hours, the mold is cool enough to allow the bronze caster to break off the clay to reveal the sculpture. This is the moment of truth. The bronze caster breaks the negative, not knowing whether he has a good sculpture. If the casting has failed, he will have to repeat the whole process. Sculptures like this, though made individually, can be made very quickly to satisfy the growing demand for cheap art. Even though slight imperfections occur and have to be filed off, the sculpture is regarded as a success and will go on sale to the public. Its most likely buyer will be a Western tourist who, having heard of African art, is looking for something from Benin to take to the folks back home.